A big blow to 70 Indian jewelers. They get deported from the US on selling the jewelry on B1, B2 visas. 2020 Starz Exclusive. Indianapolis FEDex shooting leaves 4 Sikhs dead, 8 in total, shooter dead too.
We were going to have a party at this time, and now we're arranging a funeral.
India shifts from mass vaccine exporter to importer, worrying the world. Prince Philip laid to rest Saturday in an intimate service at St. George Chapel. IPL 2021 makes me feel very old, says MS Dhoni after win in his 200th match for CSK.
Makes me feel very old.
And Sooryavanshi, Thalaivi, Chehre, film postponed due to second wave of coronavirus. Hello and welcome to 2020 Stars. I'm your host Namita and thanks so much for watching us on timestars.com. Let's start the bulletin with 2020 Starz Exclusive report. 70 Indians were deported from San Francisco. These Indians were jewelers and came to the US for the Tucson Gem and Jewelry Show. With just one issue, they were selling their jewelry on B1, B2 visa, which doesn't allow them to do so on the same, resulting their deportation. Let's have a look at the full report. Jog's Tucson Gem and Jewelry Show is one of the leading gem and jewelry events in North America for all gemstone, jewelry and mineral industry professionals and is one of the key jewelry markets in the world. Jog's Tucson show brings together international wholesalers, manufacturers and designers of jewelry, gem dealers and stone cutters showcasing new designs and new ideas. Exhibitors bring the best selection and largest stocks to choose from. Show is hosted twice a year, fall and winter time. Due to COVID, this year the show started April 10th instead of January. But this wasn't the only change. 70 India-based jewelers were not allowed to participate in this exhibition who have been selling their jewelries in this show for the past 2 decades. Reason: they had B1 and B2 visas in which they can only exhibit their jewelries but cannot sell it. This year, American authorities not only deported them but also cancelled their US visas. And on top of that, these jewelers are now not allowed to file for a US visa for the next 5 years. A member of Tucson Gem Association told 2020 Stars that this was posing a greater threat to the reputation of all Indian American gem jewelers.
क्योंकि इंडिया का नाम खराब हुआ है, आज की तारीख में सारे अंग्रेजों को यहाँ पता लग गया है कि इतने लोग यहाँ से डिपोर्ट हुए हैं और यहाँ पे वीजा कैंसिल हुए हैं। मैं आपको एक चीज़ बता देता हूँ, हम लोग यहाँ पे कोई भी गैर कानूनी अब एग्जिबिटर अलाउ नहीं करेंगे। अगर हमने जेसी के वेगस के अंदर, JIS मायामी में या अगले टुसान में हम लोगों ने किसी को भी देखा जो यहाँ पे B1 वीज़ा पे आया है, हम इमीडिएटली INS को इन्फॉर्म कर देंगे।
Since out of 70 Indians, 35 were from Jaipur, Rajasthan, a member of Jaipur Gem Association told us that not only visas but jewelers' passports have been revoked as well.
इसका आपको ये पता नहीं होगा इसमें पासपोर्ट रिवोक हो गए। हमने सबको बोल दिया ये चीज कि दिस इज लॉ ऑफ अमेरिका कि B1 B2 वीजा के ऊपर कोई भी जाके वहां सेल नहीं कर सकता है।
Due to this, Indian jewelers are now facing huge losses. This week's deadly mass shooting at the FedEx ground facility in Indianapolis struck deeply into the area's Indian Sikh community after it suffered the loss of 4 members in the shooting. A report.
Shots at once, then I start hearing 10 shots at once. So I am at a bench, and so I stand up and I take a look at the entrance door, and by the time I see the door, I see a man come out with a rifle in his hand and he starts firing and he starts yelling stuff that I could not understand.
8 people were killed and several others wounded Thursday night when a former FedEx employee opened fire at a facility near Indianapolis main airport before taking his own life. Investigators are still trying to determine the motive behind the shooting.
We've recently identified him, so now the work really begins trying to establish some of that and see if we can figure out some sort of motive in this.
On Friday afternoon, police identified the gunman as 19-year-old Brandon Hole, who was last employed by FedEx in 2020.
He was last employed in 2020.
Friday evening, Indianapolis police released the names of the 8 deceased victims. 4 out of 8 killed were Sikh. They are Amarjeet Johal, 66, Jaswinder Kaur, 50, Jaswinder Singh, 68, Amarjeet Sikhon, 48.
We were just planning about my daughter's birthday party gonna go held today, and she's supposed to take the day off the day she died.
We were gonna have a party at this time, and now we're arranging a funeral. All they wanted to do is just provide a good life to their family. It's hard, it's sad.
The Sikh community has grown in Indiana in recent years, with many Sikhs having come to Indianapolis for economic opportunity and good schools. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar tweeted he was deeply shocked. The attack marks at least the 45th mass shooting in the US since the Atlanta area spa shootings March 16th. President Joe Biden also released a statement saying, "Gun violence is an epidemic in America, but we should not accept it, we must act." Biden also called these regular mass shootings as national embarrassment.
Every single day, there's a mass shooting in the United States if you count all those who were killed out on the streets of our cities and our rural areas. It's a national embarrassment and must come to an end.
FedEx CEO Frederick Smith released a statement calling it a devastating day. 4 people were found dead outside and 4 others were dead inside.
Pretty quickly started some random shooting outside the facility. There was no confrontation with anyone that was there. There was no disturbance. There was no argument. He just appeared to randomly start shooting, and that began in the parking lot.
Shooter then killed himself before cops arrived to the scene. After gifting and selling tens of millions of COVID-19 vaccine doses abroad, India suddenly finds itself short of shots as new infections surge in the nation. Facing soaring cases and overflowing hospitals after lockdown restrictions were eased, India abruptly changed the rules to allow it to fast-track vaccine imports. It will import Russia's Sputnik V vaccine starting this month to cover as many as 125 million people. The reversal in fortunes could hamper not only India's battle to contain the pandemic, but also vaccination campaign in more than 60 poorer countries, mainly in Africa, for months. But so far, this month, India has only exported around 1.2 million vaccines doses. That compares with 61 million doses shipped abroad between late January and March, according to data from the Foreign Ministry. An official with knowledge of India's vaccine strategy said the available shots would be used domestically while the country faced an emergency situation. Prince Philip, the late husband of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II, was laid to rest Saturday in an intimate service at St. George's Chapel, which lies within the grounds of Windsor Castle. By royal standards, the service was a relatively muted affair. The ceremony was limited to 30 people, in line with England's current coronavirus restrictions. Those in attendance included senior members of the royal family as well as relatives and some of Philip's close friends. Philip's coffin was taken to the chapel in a procession led by the Band of Grandeur Guards. A Land Rover carrying his coffin was followed on foot by his children, other members of the royal family, and royal aides. The Queen arrived at the chapel separately. Prince Harry attends the funeral service. His wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, was advised by doctors to stay at home in the United States. She is pregnant with couple's second child. Philip, also known as the Duke of Edinburgh, died at the age of 99 on April 9th, and he had been married to the Queen for 73 years. Indian Premier League 2021 is back in India after being held in UAE last year due to coronavirus pandemic. All 52 matches will be played between April 9th and May 30th. MS Dhoni was elated after Chennai Super Kings' first win of the campaign when they defeated Punjab Kings in match 8 of the ongoing Indian Premier League 2021 at the Chehre Stadium on Friday. This was also the 2011 World Cup winners' 200th match for Chennai, and the victory was the perfect gift for the CSK skipper. On being asked about how he feels about playing 200 fixtures for CSK, Dhoni smiled and replied, "Makes me feel old."
Makes me feel very old. It has been a very long journey. 2008 we started, and now looking at the span, I can say, it's not only India, we have played almost everywhere, right from South Africa to Dubai to now back home, and all the different conditions and ways. In the sense, we never thought Mumbai will be our home, at some point of time. So it has been a very interesting journey.
IPL is currently being played across 6 different venues in India: Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Chennai and Mumbai. Mumbai Indians are the 2 times defending champions, having won both the 2019 and the 2020 sessions. Kings 11 Punjab are renamed as Punjab Kings. Just when Bollywood was getting back on track after an year of very few theatrical releases, the second wave of COVID-19 brought everything to a screeching halt again. Filmmakers who had optimistically announced the release dates for their films are left with no options but to postpone. Let's take a look at films that have been rescheduled due to second wave of coronavirus.
जया,
वो फिल्म वाली हमें बताएगी कि राजनीति कैसे की जाती है।
ये मर्दों की दुनिया है और हम एक औरत को आगे करके खड़े हैं।
उन्होंने जया को ही उनकी उत्तराधिकारी मानकर स्वीकार किया है।
मास्टर रेडी? क्लैपिंग, स्टार्ट कैमरा।
The makers of Kangana Ranaut starrer Thalaivi released an official statement announcing the postponement of their film. The film was earlier scheduled to release in theatres on April 23, 2021 and now has been pushed indefinitely.
मिलेगी और अगर मुझे सिर्फ एक औरत समझोगे तो तुम्हें
शहर में और भी पुलिस ऑफिसर्स अपना काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई भी ड्यूटी के लिए अपनी बच्चे की जान खतरे में नहीं डालता।
इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो की थियरी शायद सही है। लश्कर का अगला टारगेट मुंबई होगा।
सूर्या वो लोग कब आएंगे ये मैं नहीं जानता, पर वो आएंगे जरूर।
इस बार आएंगे ना तो देख लेंगे सालों को।
It seems like Sooryavanshi will have to wait a little longer before the film hits the screens. The film, which was ready to release a year ago, had to be once again postponed indefinitely. The film was earlier slated to hit the screens on April 30th.
अलग लेवल का धांधली चल रहा है सर। ये लोग 7 गाड़ी में बॉम्ब फिट किए हैं।
जिस गोली से तू मरेगा उसके ऊपर ऐसा बड़े में लिखाऊंगा, मेड इन इंडिया।
अक्का पब्लिक को मालूम है कौन आने वाला है, तेरे को नहीं मालूम?
मन भवर उठे तन सिहर उठे जब खबर उठे के आवे सिंघम। गाड़ी ऐसा हमेशा घुमा के क्यों आता है?
और तू हर बार हेलीकॉप्टर पे क्यों लटकता है?
हाँ, किसका ज्यादा बड़ा है एंट्री, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। चलो अभी।
अगर आप में से किसी ने कोई अपराध या जुर्म किया हो तो बहुत संभल के यहाँ से गुजरिए, क्योंकि ये खेल आपके साथ भी खेला जा सकता है। हमारी फील्ड है क्रिमिनल लॉ, यानी फौजदारी। आप काम क्या करते हैं मिस्टर?
मैं एक एड एजेंसी का चीफ हूँ।
Amitabh Bachchan and Imran Hashmi starrer Chehre, which was scheduled to release on April 9, has been pushed ahead until further notice. The makers released an official statement which was shared by the Starcast as well.
खुली किताबों में हमारी दिलचस्पी बहुत ज्यादा है।
हम अक्सर शाम को यहाँ इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं
और खाने के बाद हम लोग यहाँ एक गेम खेलते हैं।
कौन सा खेल? शतरंज या ताश?
असली खेल कुछ और ही है, मॉक ट्रायल।
हमारे खेल के अंत में इंसाफ होता है।
अब देखिए तो सही, बड़ा मजा आएगा आपको।
और मेरा रोल क्या होगा?
मुल्जिम, अपराधी।
जिंदगी में कुछ हासिल करना है, ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे।
शॉर्टकट खतरनाक साबित हो सकते हैं। मिस्टर मेहरा ने जानबूझकर संबंध स्थापित किया ताकि वो।
अरे आप खामखा मेरे पीछे पड़े हुए।
हमारी अदालतों में जस्टिस नहीं जजमेंट होता है, इंसाफ नहीं फैसला होता है। मुझे नहीं खेलना ये खेल, मुकदमा खत्म।
अभी आपकी किस्मत का फैसला होना बाकी है।
This decadence of human values has to stop.
ये लोग कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, क्या crazy?
Well, that's all in this bulletin. Thanks so much for watching. You can also watch the show at timestars.com. Till next time, this is your host Namita signing off. Bye-bye.